Hello and welcome back to Bunny Hoof Studio. The days are darker and the air is colder. It's time to enjoy everything that autumn brings. This season I take part in a drawing challenge, make jam, finish my art doll, experiment with some book cover illustrations, and share my many failures trying to design a new plush doll. Oh, and I make an apple pie too. Grab your sketchbook or get started on something you need to do today, make a warm drink, and join me for a creative autumn in the studio. Hello and happy autumn. So I actually thought I would come on here and talk about some more personal stuff, and I thought it could be a nice addition to an art vlog, just like a kind of insight into the struggles of being an artist, especially in this economy with the rise of AI. So I had like a really bad day yesterday, so I didn't sleep very well, and I woke up with some kind of personal bad thoughts that were kind of unrelated to being an artist. And so my day just kind of started off badly already. And then I proceeded to get extremely overwhelmed. I was researching a bunch of things. I had so much on my mind. I was trying to tackle too many things at once, and like the overwhelm just really hit me. So the past 6 months I have been like really pushing myself, and I mean I've been trying to learn new things, I've been trying to do things I've been too afraid to do before. Some of those things will seem really silly, they will seem like, why would you be afraid to do that? Some of you might get it, others of you won't, which is fine. We all have our own thing that seems fine to other people, but to us is like a scary thing to do. So I've been really pushing myself. I've also been really busy in like every facet of my life. I've been doing a lot of different things, but just speaking like from a creative point of view, I worked on a colour commission, which is unusual for me. I have been trying to teach myself some critter. I tried to start digitally colouring my illustrations with watercolour brushes. I have been destroying my brain trying to teach myself how to sew. I think making garments is like, it feels like a mathematical puzzle to me, so it takes a lot of like concentration to figure out how to do it. I'm also making the patterns myself for my doll. My doll is a pattern I made myself, so she's completely unique. There are not clothes patterns online that exist for her, although they might fit her. Actually, she's here. I have probably at this point posted the finished video of her. So at this point, I love her so much. I'm so happy with how this has turned out. She looks so lovely. And at this point, I have a video where I finish making her and you can see me make all the clothes. At this point she's basically done. I was just making her a little book, and I need to glue these together and make the cover. She is so sweet and lovely. I love all her accessories. I was teaching myself to embroider, like, yeah. I've been teaching myself to use a sewing machine. So yeah, it's been like very intense, and I think I hadn't really appreciated that. The thing that I had been putting off for a really long time was sending out my portfolio to clients. This has been something I've been really afraid of for a really long time. I've put it off for years, literally. I have been ready to send out my portfolio for a long time. My work has looked, in my opinion, pretty good, pretty actualized for a long time. There are definitely some gaps. I think I need more colour in my portfolio if I want to be commissioned for publishing more. I do not see many black and white book covers, which is a shame because I think they look really good. But I guess in terms of advertising, it's not seen as being as eye-catching. So I do still need to work on my portfolio. I have had some interest, and that's been encouraging, but the majority, you send out so many emails and it can take months to hear back. So that's been something I've been trying to bravely do every week. I've been trying to send out emails. It's really nerve-wracking as like somebody that's very introverted to cold, you know, like the term cold calling, it's like that but with emails. It's also a lot of work. It's hard to find the contact details. Very rarely do I find art director emails, so I either have to request to send my portfolio through or just ask if the publishing company are accepting commissions. So it's a lot of work. So there's that. And then I was just spent the morning like researching everything. I was like you can't tackle everything at once. Like, no wonder I got overwhelmed. And then I was thinking about my Etsy store. I have been on Etsy for years, and there was a time when my shop was actually doing really well. And this was when my work was like very different. I used to do coloured work actually, and I had a bunch of zines, and my zines used to sell really well, and I would sell prints as well. And Etsy just completely went down the drain. It's basically like a drop shipping site now, and people get their work stolen all the time. Their designs get stolen and are sold for way cheaper. So if your listings like rate really high, people will steal your design and then sell it for much cheaper. And so I was researching shops, different platforms. I think I'm gonna go for a platform that is a standalone, like a shop front, rather than a platform where people search and find my products, because nobody's finding my products anyway. And then I started thinking about how I would really like to grow my following so more people see my shop and want to support me. And then I was looking into like Instagram and TikTok, and I was looking into social media, and I was looking into like how to grow followings. And then I was thinking about my YouTube and how, like, what kind of content I should be making, and how it would be really great to have people like visit my shop more. I just got completely overwhelmed. I started looking into like wigs for dolls and like what kind of hair to use, what material I need to use, and yeah, I just became completely overwhelmed and had a kind of bit of a meltdown. But I'm essentially just saying this to let you know that this is a very real reality for creatives, because you have to do like everything. You have to be your own like marketer, you have to, and my own editor, you have to be your own agent, you have to create the work. And that's the other thing, I struggle so much with the balance between creating work that I think will sell and creating work that I want to create, and that's really tough as well, striking up a balance with that. And I was thinking about that as well, and that was like upsetting me. And I was thinking about how much I love making dolls and how I really want to improve with that. Yeah, there was just like a lot on my mind. I'm sure if you're a fellow creative, you can relate to this. And if you're not, just realise that behind every artist you see online is somebody that's probably juggling a million different things and trying to learn so many different things. And the people that are successful, they're probably really good at all of them, or at least, so there is a bit of luck involved, but I'm not going to discount anyone's success by just saying it's all luck. It is not. I think on social media, there is an element of luck to it. The people that are successful must just be really, really good at marketing themselves, and I think it's something I really have always struggled with, especially the consistency of it. I really like my life, and I really like the lifestyle I have that allows me to explore new things like doll making, and allows me to work on the things I want to work on, and I'm not too overly reliant on being a huge artist. Although it's tough, I don't have these days very often where I feel kind of overwhelmed. I think I just didn't really realise quite how much I had been trying to do for the past 6 months, and I hadn't really appreciated how much I've been pushing myself to really do things that are like really out of my comfort zone. I really feel like, I think I'm gonna butcher this quote, and I don't think it's a direct quote that anyone I know of has said, but there's this kind of sentiment of, if you don't feel a bit uncomfortable when you're doing something, not that you're not doing it right, I don't subscribe to that, but if you want like to see development and growth, you're going to probably feel uncomfortable because you're going to make mistakes because you're trying something new for the first time. And like, I feel like most of what I've done in the last 6 months has been that. It's been me like really pushing through discomfort. I just thought I'd share. The beginning of autumn is me basically having a meltdown and reflecting on that. I'm actually not sure what I'm doing today. I have to edit a video for YouTube. That is something I need to do. I am working on this ghost, which is currently in the work in progress stage, and I need to finish up my dolls book. That's something I need to do today. And I should really play some piano, actually. I have not touched my piano for a really long time. So yeah, I hope your autumn so far is going very lovely, and that you enjoyed. If you live in a place where the leaves fall and turn brown, unlike myself, I hope you had fun kicking leaves into the air and enjoying the crisp autumn. And I'll see you in some other sort of update in this video probably, or in my voiceover you'll hear me saying something relevant. Usually at the end of summer and beginning of autumn there's loads of fruit to harvest. Usually a friend of a friend or my partner's grandmother has buckets of apples or pears, and we have figs growing on our land, so I love to make jam from these at this time. This year I'm making my two favourites, pear jam and fig jam. I feel like a heathen adding this much sugar to anything, but it is necessary for the jam to preserve properly. I didn't even need to add as much as some other fruits because these are already very sweet. It takes quite a while for the oven to reach temperature, but once it does, it's often actually too hot. I find pear jam has an amazing texture when you leave the skin on, so long as you cook it for long enough. Somehow, despite being completely cooked down, leaving the tiny skin gives a bit of crunch to the jam. Although I appreciate that might not sound very appealing, it is really delicious. I like to preserve figs in two different ways, but this year I wanted to make jam. Sometimes I like to preserve them whole in syrup, and they taste amazing when you add them to ice cream or any other type of dessert. They're actually delicious with porridge too. I use a wood oven to cook the jam as it saves on gas. They'll be cooking on here for hours. The fourgon heats up the whole room, which is perfect as I'll be tending to the fire all afternoon. Once the jars are filled, I leave them to cool upside down as this seals the lids properly for some scientific reason I don't know, and I cover them with a towel so they don't cool too quickly and break the glass. And here is my first project finished this autumn. My pomegranate tree finally produced its first fruit. I have no idea if it's ready to pick yet. What do you think? At the beginning of autumn, I managed to finish my first art doll. Learning to sew has probably been the biggest learning curve. I hand sewed most of it, but towards the end was given a sewing machine which will make future dolls much easier and quicker to make. The wig was also really challenging. I've since done a lot of research, and I think for my next human doll I will try viscose fibres for the hair. I found a European seller online. The hair will look a lot more natural and will work better as a glued wig. Gluing the very synthetic strands was really quite challenging. Sculpting the hands and feet was also challenging and time consuming, so I've actually been gathering materials to make molds from future sculpts. I'm hoping this means I can start selling dolls next year. You can watch the full process of this doll on my channel if you're interested in seeing me sculpt and sew her to completion. So I've been working on this book cover I've been wanting to do, and I've been working on it very slowly because I've actually been really busy doing other stuff. I'm very aptly working on The Bloody Chamber, the short story collection by Angela Carter. The reason why I chose that one is because it's so loaded with imagery. There's so much inspiration to kind of find lots of symbology within the book cover. So I finally, I think, penciled out the final illustration before I ink it. At the bottom I've left a space in the middle for the title. At the bottom I have our protagonist of that story playing piano, and then the design kind of lifts up and around the edges, and with a portrait of her at the top, and surrounded is basically things that are mentioned in the story. So I'm gonna have white lilies, those are mentioned a lot. There are 3 mirrors with the reflections of the 3 past women that all mysteriously died. Then a drawing of a hand with the ruby ring, and the ruby ring as well up here. Oh, and the keys. The keys are a big feature. This isn't going to mean much to you if you haven't read the story, but I'd really recommend it. I think the cover's going well, and I think it's ready to ink. So I'm going to ink this. Will I start today? Will I be brave enough? I should at least start, I think, a small portion of it. And then I'm going to experiment with colour. So once it's inked, I'm going to scan it and put it in Illustrator and play around with colours, and I'm going to create basically a mock book cover and spine. Yeah, I really want to get some colour on my website, and I thought that this would be a good way to do it. Once it's inked on, you'll see me play around with the colours, hopefully. Finding a balance between digital and analog illustration is something I've been wanting to explore more for a while, but I will always love the feeling of using my dip pen nib over any sort of digital drawing, to be honest. The line quality that dip pen creates just feels really special, and I love the soft scratching sounds it makes on the paper. This design took quite a while to plan out, as the balance of a book cover is quite different to a standalone illustration. I need to take into account the text that will be on the book cover and around the design, and making sure the image is eye-catching and expresses the atmosphere of the book. The lovely thing about using digital aspects for this though is that I can easily add things in or take elements out if I want to, and this helps me feel more relaxed at the drawing stage. Any mistakes can be changed slightly. I also take into account that this will be changed to a vector drawing once it is scanned and edited, so I want to make sure I draw the lines very clearly and close any gaps. I ended up needing to add some lines in Photoshop after, to thicken up a few of the lines, but this didn't actually take too long. Next time I might actually use a different size nib so the lines aren't quite as fine, because when it's converted into vector, often when the line is too thin, it will perceive that as a gap in the line. Angela Carter's writing style is surprisingly dense. Every sentence feels so loaded, but I find the Bloody Chamber story collection is probably one of her more accessible books in terms of readability. I find that some of her novels require a level of concentration I'm just not always able to give, unfortunately. The imagery feels so concentrated. This first story in particular is written in such a way that I almost feel like I can feel the walls of the castle she's describing. The protagonist plays Debussy on piano, and because I'm quite familiar with that music, it transported me even more deeply into the story. So I have cleaned up my illustration in Photoshop, edited it so it's very clear, and then I vectorized it. And currently I'm separating some layers, some aspects of the image that I want to be on different layers so I can colour them slightly different in Illustrator. See, I've just been removing the background, and I think I want the flowers to be a different colour from the other parts of the image. I'm going to vectorize these and put them into Illustrator and see how it looks with the different colour. Also, I discovered that if you want to make your drawings into vectors, Adobe Illustrator actually does a really bad job. It's kind of crazy how bad it is. It completely ruins the quality of the image. And I actually found that the free open source software Inkscape did a really amazing, impressive job of turning my drawing into a vector, and it was actually really hard to tell the difference between the two. I find when you vectorize drawings, it can really lose the lovely quality of the hand-drawn aspect, and it can make it look very, very digital in a really obvious way. But yeah, I found it hard to tell the difference between the two, so definitely check out Inkscape if you want to turn your drawings into vectors and keep them looking really nice. There is something kind of magical about being able to fluidly change the colours of a drawing like this. Even if the software isn't super intuitive, once you understand how it works, it's surprisingly quick and easy. The hard part is more in the decision making you need to do as a designer. Deciding on the colour scheme, the shading, and how much is too much. Is adding another colour taking away from the design or adding to it? A lot of this comes with experience and also looking at a lot of design and asking yourself why you like it and what about it works for you, and applying that to your own work. My partner is actually a great source of healthy critique. They are really good at spotting when something is very slightly off, often suggesting tiny changes that make a big difference. I have a couple of different files open here just to kind of show my process working on Illustrator on this book cover. And basically, I've just been experimenting with different colours, but mostly dark purple background and red lines. So this is like kind of early on when I just was quickly playing around with the colours just to see how it all looks. There's still some black down here, still parts that haven't been done. At this stage I liked the red lines with the deep purple background. I thought that looked quite nice. Still parts that haven't been finished yet. I was thinking that I liked the idea of the flowers being a different colour, slightly more of a with some gold outlines, and so in the previous video I said that I was separating the layers out, so that's what I've done here. And basically it's still not finished yet. If it's not obvious at all when I look at this footage, I'll put up an image of what I've worked on so far on the screen so you can see better, because I'm actually not sure how easy it is to see any of this from here. I made the flowers more of a kind of golden ochre outline and adding some different shades into the flowers. There's still some black lines actually that I need to sort out. There's also some blood that's meant to be dripping down. I need to turn that red, so I'll draw in some red. I actually think I want this to be the same colour as the rest of the red. I thought I liked it as a dark red, but I actually think I want it to be the same red. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, I think that looks nice. Some more flowers here that I changed the colour of, and here. I basically went all the way around and changed the colour of the flowers. Here as well. I filled in the colour of the ring. I'm quite happy with her face. I decided to make her face a lighter beige. It looks white, but it's actually beige. A lighter beige than the hair. And I made the lines of her face a very dark red, and then made her eyes red and her lips red, and just wanted to keep the colour palette very minimal. Yeah, I might make the strands of hair different shades as well, so I'll put in some darker shades here, for example. I can do that now. Maybe this one could be a bit darker. So there's still actually like a lot of work to do, honestly, but I've been working on this kind of in my spare time, so it's been very slow progress. I'm pretty sure I can't get this finished in time for this vlog, but I will show the final, what I have so far as a JPEG on the screen so you can see what I've been working on. Yeah, just so I actually have something finished to show. But so far I think I'm pretty happy with this. I'm like a bit unused to working with colour, so I'm just playing around. There's going to be text in the middle, and then I might add a bit of gradient to the background. I also might add like a stippling effect for shading on some parts as well. But I think so far I'm pretty happy with it. I think it's a really lovely design. I especially like this hand here. I actually don't know how clear that is. I also need to add highlights, so I did add some highlights to her eyes. Yeah, you can see I added a little object here for highlights. And you can see with vector I can zoom way in. Because it's a vector, it doesn't become pixelated. I can just keep going and going and going, and you can tell it's a vector here because the line, it looks digital, it doesn't look like a line drawing. But Inkscape did such a good job of vectoring my drawing that when you look at it kind of just at a normal size, it's very hard to tell that it's not hand-drawn. I think you'd only assume it was digital because everyone kind of works digitally these days. But yeah, I think this is a really nice flow. I don't know how easy it is for you to imagine. I'm going to show the final so far illustration on the screen, I guess, here. And I'll add a title, but I'm telling you this is a work in progress. It's not like finished yet. So this is kind of the gist of what I want for the book cover design, and perhaps if I manage to get this finished by my next art vlog, I'll show you kind of the final illustration. But I thought it would be kind of interesting for you to see just my process and how I'm working on illustrations that would go on to actual books. After working on my pedal design that I did for a company, you can see that in my summer art vlog. I actually had a lot of fun vectorizing my drawings and playing around with colour, and I think bold colours work really well with my work, and so I wanted to experiment some more, and I thought this would be great to add to my portfolio. It like has a balance between representing elements of the book whilst also looking really decorative and lovely, which is eye-catching, and the colours help with it being eye-catching. The next thing I need to do is pick a font, but so far I'm pretty happy with it. I also will I might make a spine design as well, so that the book will kind of be at an angle, and you'll see the cover and the spine can go up on my website once it's done. But yeah, that's kind of it for the project. You'll see on the screen, or you would have seen on the screen, the final illustration. I'll show it again maybe for this bit. This is what I came up with so far. It's probably not finished. But yeah, I just wanted to share with you doing my kind of, because I've shared a lot of inking videos on my channel, so you might be interested to see what happens after then. Perhaps this inspires you to turn some of your drawings into vectors and play around with colours. Illustrator isn't the easiest. It's not very intuitive. There are tons of tutorials online though, so it's definitely not impossible. It just might take a little bit of getting used to. But yeah, here is the thing I worked on, and I hope you enjoyed watching the process. I had a lovely Halloween this year, and sculpting things for my Sylvanian Cozy Cottage bakery is a way I've discovered to relax and be creative in a way that isn't about making an income or being perfect. I've been wanting to make a ghost for my cozy cottage for a while, and also wanting to make some Halloween treats for my Sylvanians to enjoy at Halloween this year. I think the best part was painting them. I was especially happy with how the paint transformed the coffee cups, and how the bright orange of the pumpkins brightens up the cottage. I'm hoping if I have time I can also make some Christmas treats for them and get a video out for you to enjoy in December. Editing is quite time consuming, but I also need to leave myself enough time to actually make the things I want to edit and show you. I also had a little Halloween film marathon. I watched The Long Walk, which was a film made this year, The Ritual, which was a 2017 film, You Won't Be Alone, 2022, Kuroneko, which is a Japanese 1968 film, and Azrael, which was a 2024 film. I add the years because a lot of, especially horror films, tend to have the same titles, so if you want to search for these films, then the year will be really helpful. I think the most impactful for me was You Won't Be Alone, which was a really beautifully filmed story about a witch. It is quite gruesome, but in a way that makes sense for the story. And we see the witch learn how to shapeshift into basically different people, and how she gains all these life experiences she was never able to have as a child through shapeshifting into these different people, even if the way she does it is very ethically questionable. And this is everything I managed to make in the palm of my hand. Check out the full video if you want to see it in more detail. So autumn last year, before I started this channel, I went to Füssen in Germany, and I wanted to share some clips I took, as I found myself thinking a lot about how much I enjoyed being there this time last year. Although I mostly took photos, I did take a few of these videos of these ducks in the river that was such a beautiful colour. Apparently it turns this deep turquoise when all the snow melts quickly into the river, so we were really lucky to see it like this. It was also really lovely to see a true autumn with hundreds of orange and red leaves everywhere. I really do miss autumns like that. We visited a castle and were surrounded by mountains and forestry. The houses all looked so perfect they almost didn't seem real, like a toy town. I remember this moment when I found some swans on the river. The water looked so tranquil and almost like it was glowing. Anyway, I just wanted to share these memories with you, even if they aren't technically from this particular autumn. Time to make apple pie. Despite my best efforts using up all the fruit to make jam, there were still buckets of apples left, so I decided to make one of my favourite things, apple pie. After I had made the pastry and let it chill in the fridge, I rolled out the base first. There were a lot of apples, so I had to switch from using a proper pie tin to a cake tin instead to accommodate all the apple filling. I actually don't add any spices to my apple pie, I just like it to be apples and brown sugar. I also add some corn flour so that it thickens as it cooks. A lot of people like to add cinnamon and even raisins into the mix, but I just like simple apples and sugar for whatever reason. It's collapsing. That was not the picturesque shot I was imagining. So I settled for a more rustic style of pie with the edges folded inwards. I also forgot to sprinkle sugar on top, so it really does look kind of medieval, but I decided that was okay. I've always been more of a make it taste good rather than look good kind of person. Interestingly, despite being a creative person, when it comes to food I'm really not fussy about how it looks. And this tasted delicious. Sorry I didn't take any shots of it being sliced, I was too busy eating it. I decided during October to take part in Inktober for the first time in quite a few years. I've always found drawing challenges a bit unnecessarily stressful, as usually the way I work is highly detailed and probably a bit overly perfectionistic. Daily drawing challenges don't mix very well with that for me, but this year I decided to take this as an opportunity to loosen up a bit and to get out all the ideas I think about but don't make it onto paper. I'm just going to show you a few of my favourite sketches from the month, but if you want to see my complete video with all 31 drawings, it is on my channel for you to enjoy, along with my thoughts as I tackle this challenge every day. I definitely want to make some of these small sketches into bigger drawings, and I think I should try a challenge like this again. Maybe I'll pick a week out of every month to draw every day. I found this was great for thinking of new ideas too. I didn't plan out any of them in advance either. I just let myself sit down every day and come up with something off the top of my head, often looking through art books for any random object that would come up and inspire me to draw my own version of that. The final result was 5 completely filled pages of ideas, but they also look really interesting as just standalone art pieces. For many people, this is the way they primarily actually use their sketchbooks. I can also see how this would be great if you're a digital artist. You can take these small ideas and bring them into Photoshop or Illustrator to develop them further. I finished up the challenge with a larger drawing of Baba Yaga's house, something I'd been wanting to draw for a while, having read a lot of Russian fairy tales in the past few years. Time for a short walk to look at some tree trunks and moss. It's not very clear on camera, but those are hog tracks in the mud, or maybe deer actually. Usually when there are boar, there's a lot more signs of digging and uprooting. If I look really tired, it's because I am, but I'm hoping the hat and cozy jumper distract from my tired face. So I have been trying to work on a new plush doll, and this doll will have half a clay face, so like a little mask, and they will have hands and feet, but the hands and feet won't be super detailed, they'll be more like kind of paws, which will hopefully become clear when it's done, and the final video, obviously, I'll post it on my channel. I thought it'd be nice to do a doll update in this vlog because I don't know how long it's going to be until I can get another doll video out. The major obstacle I've been experiencing has been sewing, and I've been getting used to using the sewing machine. That aspect hasn't been too bad. What's been difficult is getting used to how different fabrics behave, and you need to change the stitches and the needle type, so it's been a bit of a learning curve. And the funny thing is, the fabric I thought was going to be difficult wasn't, and the fabric I didn't expect to be difficult was. I am working on a celestial sun doll, and the design was quite complex because that is just the way I work. Guess I just dive into the most complex ideas, and it was inspired by this mustard yellow fabric. I thought, oh, that would be really nice for kind of like a celestial sun. I really like celestial suns for some reason, ever since I was a kid. And I'm going to show you the hideous sewing attempts I've had. So this one isn't too bad. This is the first one I did, and this is the hole I kept so I could flip it inside out. And basically the face is going to go on the front here, it's going to be kind of tucked into the fabric, and then it's going to have a body underneath, and I'm going to have like little bells, I think, on the end of the sun. I did practice on this fabric before I started sewing, and despite my best efforts reinforcing the stitches, it still started to fall apart. So basically the fabric just started tearing at the seams. So I was really disappointed, because I did so many experiments before I did this final thing, because I don't have a ton of this fabric, so I can only make maybe 3 or 4 of these dolls because I want to sell them. So that's another thing. I really want to make sure that they're good quality and sewn well, otherwise I'm just not going to feel comfortable selling them. So I was like, okay, I'll try a new stitch. I found a stitch which is called, I think, the satin stitch, and that seemed to work really well, but I didn't like how big of a space that was here. I wanted the tendrils to go like further in. This one is the most hideous. This was my next attempt. I mean, it's kind of nice in a creepy way, I guess. It didn't tear apart, so the stitch was correct even though the stitching is somewhat visible. This also wasn't correct. And this took me like, I am not kidding, and I can't believe it took this long. It took me 2 hours to turn this inside out, because obviously you sew it inside out and then you flip it. It took me 2 hours and it just looks too messy. So then I decided, okay, I need to completely well, not completely, but I need to rethink this design. I need to think of something that's easier to turn inside out, something that has less stress points, and something that can look a bit neater. So I decided to do it in cotton first. This fabric is much easier to work with. It doesn't fray and break, and I really like this. This is an old face, one of the first faces I tried to sculpt for dolls, so it's not how the face is actually going to look, but this is just an example face. The face is going to sit inside, but it's going to be quite a different design to this face. And then I sewed the body in velvet, and it's the same body as the doll that I made recently, but the hips are slightly less wide. I wanted it to be less of a wide hipped shape. So I've done the body, and this was the fabric I thought would be difficult because velvet can be tricky to machine sew. Made a hole in the back, so the body will be underneath like this. It's kind of creepy, but in a good way, hopefully. And they're obviously going to have arms, and they're going to have little clay legs and feet and a clay face. And so I did the design in the yellow, so you can see how it's going to look. The yellow and the black look really nice together. It's still not as neat as using the white cotton. The white cotton one is just, the finish is just a bit better, partly because I can use a straight stitch on the white cotton, and for this I have to use a different stitch. But none of it broke, which is really good, and it looks quite good, I think. I mean, obviously, especially as soon as there's like a face inside and once the body has its limbs. So I need to see how much fabric I have, but I think I can do 3. I'm hoping for more now that the head is smaller. I think I want to add some embroidery to the body, so little stars maybe, or little dots that are meant to be stars in yellow. And this is also going to, I've done so much research in how to make my dolls. So basically I'm going to sculpt the faces in air dry clay. I'm going to coat them in a gesso primer, and then I'm going to cast them in plaster, pottery plaster. And then into the pottery plaster I'm going to pour liquid slip. And I'm so excited. I discovered a slip that you don't need to dry in a kiln, you don't need to bake it in the kiln, and it dries almost as hard as porcelain. I am so excited to discover this because I have been doing so much research trying to figure out how I can recreate my dolls, like the same face over and over again, so I can make a set of dolls to sell. Because if I have to hand sculpt every single one, it's going, I can't justify not charging like a lot because it takes so much time, and I really wanted to find a way to create molds of the parts. So I have discovered this, and I still need to order the slip. I've ordered the plaster and the spray, And so yeah, next I need to sculpt the face and get exactly the kind of face that I want. Try and cast the parts, the hands and the feet. The hands and the feet are not going to be really intricately sculpted. They're going to be more like little paws or mittens, as my friend said. She described them as being like mittens. So I don't know how well you can imagine how this might look. But yeah, basically a face is going to go in here. And then there's going to be velvet arms with porcelain, hopefully porcelain arms and legs, and then embroidery, and I think I'm going to have a little ribbon here so it can hang. And I really hope they'll be good enough to sell. I think that will be really exciting. I am really excited about my doll making. I really want to push it this next year, I think. I think it would be like a little mini protest against AI art. I think like AI art is taking a lot of illustrators' jobs, and so I think now is the best time to like branch out and make other things. And if you see these videos and you like my dolls, just subscribe and keep a lookout and you'll be able to see when they're in my shop. So yeah, stay tuned. Hopefully I will have a doll video. I don't know when. It depends how long it takes to do everything. I was kind of thinking it would be nice to have a video with this like entire project being from start to finish. Maybe I'll do it in 2 parts, like sculpting the face and limbs for one of the videos and the process of trying to sew this for one video, and the second video maybe casting the parts and making all the dolls, but we'll see. This is so soft. Velvet is one of my favourite fabrics. I want to introduce you to my new Sylvanian. I have been wanting this Sylvanian for a really long time because I have a friend that has this Sylvanian in a Halloween outfit and they look amazing in the Halloween outfit, so I want to make that Halloween outfit because she comes with like a set and I don't want the rest of the set, I just want her. So for now I made her a little dress and a witch's hat. She looks so good in purple, and she's meant to be a Persian cat and she has this plushy giant tail, which I love, and she looks really good in purple. This is her little witch hat, and I bought her secondhand, and she came with this bicycle with a little trailer on the back, and when she sat on this it looks actually amazing. Like, I mean, I'm not expecting everyone to get this. There's something really magical about seeing her on this bike. Please tell me you understand how wonderful this is. This is like the best 12 euros I've ever spent. So I might paint the bike. I'm not sure. I like the idea of it being red maybe. But also she looks really good on a blue bike because of her colouring. So I haven't quite decided yet. If you go to my Halloween video where I make these pumpkins and cakes, I made a short stop animation film, if you can even call it a film, at the end of the video, and it shows her delivering all the cakes and things to the cozy cottage and a letter. Share a close-up of my ghost. I showed it at the beginning. I didn't have a very good close-up of them already painted. You can see I gave them rosy cheeks, and they're all nice and shiny because I varnished them. But yeah, these are my 2, a handmade edition and a new purchased edition to the, or should I say adopted edition to the cozy cottage. And yeah. Thank you for joining me while I share my creative autumn with you. I hope you enjoyed hearing about my projects and personal oddities, as well as some snippets of what I do when I'm not making things. Tell me below what you did for Halloween and how your autumn has been. Take care and stay warm.